Old hobbits die hard, I guess. I know television has to television, and we have to have music cues swelling up all over the joint, but can we pick an image a little more interesting than a f***ing shoe that looks like it was hung up in the same way a sock would be put on a dorm room doorknob? Jack could just be running into some plane crash survivors feeling lucky to be alive.
Except that the beginning of this show is supposed to start out with the slow realization of what happened, and then hit you in the face with the chaos of the situation. If Jack immediately found the survivors, that would not happen.
I'm thankful that characters change pretty drastically from the pilot, since it's usually written separately, because I might not be able to handle much more of Shannon if she doesn't. She does eventually become less annoying, right?
So, the insinuation here is that Shannon does not become less annoying, and that's wrong. Look, it does take a while for her to improve, but she eventually does. Also, Jeremy is using this scene as an example of her being annoying, and the thing is, this is a bad example. Because even though I agree that she should be trying to help save people, she did just go through a massive trauma, and therefore she is in shock. So if we're being fair, this is at least a realistic response to the crash.
I've heard the classic question, is there a doctor on board? And there's always a good chance one is. However, the chances of having a surgeon as skilled as Jack on this flight and surviving is a hell of a lot narrower.
But why is this a sin? Aside from the fact that convenient shit happens all the time in the real world, it's clear to everyone watching this show that there is something else happening on this island, something that might boil down to fate, as John Locke talks about.
Agreed, but also, how long is that engine going to keep spinning and operating at normal deadly speed now that it doesn't appear to be connected to all the other parts of the plane?
Are you stupid? Just because the engine isn't connected to the rest of the plane doesn't mean that certain parts aren't connected to other parts still. I mean, I don't know how plane engines work specifically, but it seems entirely plausible that the engine could still run for a short amount of time after the crash.
Old hobbits die hard, I guess.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Can't reach it.
To sew that up?
It's just like the drape, same thing.
No, with the trips, I used a sewing machine.
I'm with Kate here. You asked her if she'd ever used a needle, and now you know she's only used a sewing machine. If you're going to just have her sew you up no matter what anyway, why even ask the question?
It's this little thing called psychology. Jack wants to make Kate feel more comfortable with the situation so that she can perform the stitching.
Time for an unexpected top 5 list. Top 5 best hours of television in all history, in random order. The Lost premiere, Breaking Bad, Ozymandias, Star Trek The Next Generation's Inner Light, Game of Thrones, Hard Home.
Okay, if you guys have seen much of my channel before now, you would know that I'm a huge Game of Thrones nerd, so I've got to nitpick this. Hard Home should not be anywhere near this top 5 list. I could easily give you 40 more episodes of Game of Thrones that are better than Hard Home. Why 40, you might ask? Because the first 4 seasons, each of which have 10 episodes, are all far better than Hard Home.
I saw some smoke. Just through the valley.
Did it look mean or angry to you? Like, say, a monster? Lost confirms early on that it will be at least 40% blowing smoke.
A whole bunch of bullshit.
Just don't tell anyone.
Should be easy. No one is sitting next to him. The seat front right of him looks empty, as does the seat directly behind him. He's so isolated, it's a wonder she even felt the need to give a warning.
This sin is just pointless nitpicking. She obviously told Jack not to tell anyone because she was flirting with him, not because it was an actual concern.
Someone has clearly seen The Godfather.
Jeremy makes another pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
You don't have to come up here.
No, I'm good.
Jack in the mystery box here has a point. In fact, why did either of the other two have to climb this plane at all?
They wanted to help. No, seriously, Jeremy just said that they shouldn't have climbed the plane with him, but the entire point of them climbing the plane is because they wanted to help. How does he not understand this?
What the hell just happened?
What happened, Sir Charles, is that this kind gentleman here had exposited everything he needed to, so he was disposed of. Yeah.
Again, I haven't finished this show yet, but there is obviously something weird going on with this island, and they've mentioned before how there's a purpose for everyone being here. So this pilot fulfilled his purpose of giving them information, and then he was killed.
How does something like that happen?
This show does not include The Predator.
And yet another pop culture reference.